Julio Jones, free agent in his 30s. What do you think?
I see this as a potentially good addition for the 49ers in sort of the locker room presence and a minimal amount of production that he's going to add at his age, right? I'm not confident that he's going to stay healthy the entirety of the year, but what I do know is he's a veteran. He has a phenomenal locker room presence. And I feel like when you brought that in to the 49ers, if you brought that into the 49ers, it would be similar, akin to the move that brought in Emmanuel Sanders. And it could be something that lifts the entire wide receiver locker room. I also see some other wide receivers out there. I just don't think that the Niners should be done in free agency when it comes to wide receiver. I'd be good with Odell Beckham Jr., knowing he's not going to contribute until late in the season or the postseason. Jarvis Landry, to me, would be a huge target. I'd be fine with adding some speed in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Juju Smith-Schuster's been linked to the team. Will Fuller, although he has the injury history. To me, the 49ers should not be done at wide receiver.
Agreed. And they're not, because they only have 4 on their roster.
Right.
I just don't think Julio Jones is the one I would go after. Although I know there's arguments to be made. It's just I'm looking at his stats. He might be washed, Rob. I mean, in 2020, he was 31, 9 games, 51 catches, 771 yards. I mean, not a terrible season, but only 9 games. And then this year, 2021, he was 32, played 10 games, he had 31 catches. I'm afraid he's starting to miss half a season and he's not good anymore. I saw him in Tennessee. He looked slow. He looked washed to me. So to me, you just listed a bunch of free agent wide receivers. I'm more interested in the dudes in the draft. Everyone's saying this is a great wide receiver draft. Man, double dip if you have to. Like, take a wide receiver in round 2 or round 3. That's where I want to get. I want to take advantage of that market, not necessarily the free agent market. So
yeah, I could see that. It is a deep wide receiver class. There is a lot of speed there, and I do think the Niners take a wide receiver in the draft. I just start to get caught up when I look at doing mock drafts, and I haven't put any formal ones out yet, but when I look at the picks and I look at the needs for the 49ers, knowing that they haven't finished in free agency, I just see more holes and places I'd rather go early in the draft, and then by the time we got around to it, I just worry that there wouldn't be enough talent to add significant depth there. I look at this list and think to myself, of these 5 wide receivers, I'm really good with like 3 of them. Of the 6, I'd probably be good with 4 because I'd be okay with Julio Jones. I wouldn't be as excited by him as I would if the Niners got a Jarvis Landry or Juju Smith-Schuster. But I believe that there could be value here because there's some quality names still remaining available. The Niners might be able to get a bargain.
Yeah, I'm just afraid you give a guy if it's a bargain, great. You give a guy a contract, he misses half the season. That's it. That's the only thing. I mean, I saw a stat this morning from Field Yates. I think that of all the wide receivers last year who were older than 30, none of them got to 1,000 yards. And I know you're not signing Julio Jones to get to 1,000 yards, but I think it kind of shows you that this is a position that doesn't age that well. Jerry Rice notwithstanding, it doesn't age that well. It's about speed, and once these lower leg injuries start piling up, George Kittle, Julio Jones, you see what happens. And like they can fall off quickly, especially at wide receiver where so much of the position is about speed. So Julio Jones, if he's healthy, great. But I'm over here trying to trade George Kittle, and he's only 28. So you will see where I would stand on 33-year-old Julio Jones.
Yeah. When I look at your stance on George,
I'm being consistent.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And they're valid concerns. I could see if you get the value, you might have a resurgence of Julio underneath Kyle Shanahan, who truly understands what he would have in that special wide receiver and could put him in a position to be successful.
I mean, the way I look, before we move on real quick, the way I look at the injury stuff, it wasn't as big of a deal last year, but it's always been an issue with the Niners. And when it happens, fans are pissed. They're like, we got to examine the training staff, and why do we bring these players in? But then when it's like actually time to do something about it in the offseason, and you talk about, well, maybe you shouldn't invest in some of these injury-prone players, or maybe it's time to get rid of one a year earlier than a year late, people be like, why would you just assume he's going to get hurt again? Like, all right, you can't have it both ways. You got to actually prioritize it if it's something that bothers you, or just say it's the cost of doing business in the NFL. Pedro, thank you. There's more. I just want to take one and then keep going the show, but we'll come back. Trade James, sign Gilmore, Matthew, and Zadarius Smith or Dante Fowler. James is Jimmy Garoppolo. Mike says trade James Garoppolo, sign Gilmore, Matthew, Zadarius Smith, or Dante Fowler. Rams and whole AFC West are going to kill the secondary. If not, See, to me, if you got rid of Jimmy now, you could get another DB and an edge rusher and be like, boom, here we go. But I guess you have to believe in Trey Lance, right?
You would have to. You'd have to have faith. But I mean, I feel like part of me wants to say to the 49ers.
Are you talking like Limp Bizkit faith, or are you talking like Wham faith?
I'm talking Wham faith. Like, you got to have faith.
All right, faith.
Faith.
Okay, cool.
Faith.
All right.
So I think that the 49ers have committed themselves to Lance regardless of how they feel about him. So go all in. You know, as we were talking through this, that sort of epiphany dawned on me is they're sort of hedging their bet, but they already made the bet. The wager has been placed. Like, just accept that and just say, all right, we are all in. Let's do this. I would agree. I thought that trade of Jimmy and then the use of those cap dollars, while I may not want those exact players, the positions that he addressed there would be a huge boon for the 49ers.
Charlie says Niners trading for Deshaun Watson, reason no movement. Small deals waiting for him to choose. Big move coming, keeping it silent. Greenlaw traded. Greenlaw for Watson, the best trade of all time. Could be. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I like the tinfoil hat theories. Keep them coming. That Niner guy says there is a hard rumbling Watson pick. The Falcons. Yes, I can honestly not believe this. They completely screwed themselves and trade this season. Now we can all be pissed. Oh, that's a turn. He's from Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. A lot of people like living in Atlanta. I like Atlanta. Atlanta's fun. So I can see it.
What a way to end the career for Matt Ryan. Like, a guy who's just been there for your franchise, and you're like, no, we found somebody new. So
thanks. Watson might not be there, but wide receiver Alec Pierce, round third. There you go. Alec Pierce. That's the name.